Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm all
exactly
out of
that.
piping questions. So, Kev, you got anything else for piping before we roll to what you want to talk about?
No, I think that's good. Before we roll into the high ambient strategies, which seems to be like what everybody talks about, I want to
Mhm.
talk more about low ambient strategies because I live in Chicago. So it's the complete opposite of where Brett lives. He lives in Satan's asshole like all year round. It's miserable down there. We get down.
He's moving. I think he might be moving to Texas. Shut your mouth.
It'll be fine.
I've
Sounds,
been there. I'm used to the heat. It's fine.
yeah. See, the heat doesn't bother me. It's the -10, -15 with the wind chill, -30. So we get that up here. Now
Yeah.
we have nonstop problems all winter long. The DX racks, just as long as they're set up right, they'll run. But the CO2 racks, for the most part, unless they have a decent amount of load, all crash.
Mm.
And it seems to be a couple customers where they have a little load and they have nightshades. We fight the fight back and forth, and we end up running out of variable speed compressor. Basically, we
Mm.
can't go down any farther, and hot gas injection just ain't cutting it.
Mm.
So
So there's two problems with that. Like, contrary to the pressures that you work with CO2, the compression ratio over the CO2 compressor is actually low compared to other compressors.
yep,
Um, so that is one thing. If you then run into that low ambient conditions, and especially with optimized saturated suction temperature, um, your compression ratio becomes very low. The first thing that happens with that is um, you reduce your discharge pressure and your discharge temperature. Sorry, you reduce your discharge temperature quite a lot. And then what kind of happens is, because and in between that low pressure differential, you've got an intermediate vessel now. You've got your receiver tank trying to sit between your saturated suction temperature and your discharge pressure. So what we found is, like, what we've seen it before, where we get what we call it silly season, where everything basically just gets pumped in the machine room. So you even see your compressors running flat out, but there's absolutely nothing happening at the evaporators. But your machine room is running hard, and it's because your flash bypass valve is just opening up, trying to to do something, but it doesn't know exactly what to do. So the best high ambient or low ambient strategy, because the problem that you have is, again, it's always, everybody says I always take a problem to the benefits of CO2, but it is like, the benefit of CO2 that you have is it's got very good heat transfer coefficient. It's got a high volumetric efficiency. So if you're at that um, that low operating ambient conditions, your condenser essentially for that system is huge. Because the second thing that people do, and especially if I understand what will happen in Chicago, and that is one design issue that I have and I always fight, is everybody looks and design a refrigeration system for the plus for the
Worst case scenario.
yep,
0.05% operating time of the year, which Chicago is 105 F. So people design that system at 105 F,
yep.
which I don't agree with, because you've got adiabatic probably also there, but they still, what if the water cuts, and what if it's 105 F there, and all of that shit, which people believe CO2 don't work at those conditions. It works, it's just not efficient. But I'd rather have a bit of a less efficient system for 0.5% of the year than a less efficient system for 60% of the year. But anyway, that's a different topic. So, but basically, what happens is your gas cooler slash condenser now is highly oversized. So any trickle of wind will make it over condense. So the best way is to basically, in those conditions, what I would say, for extreme weather fluctuations, you need to bypass that gas cooler. You need to have the ability to bypass it. Floating the fans is not good enough. Switching the fans off is not good enough. You're still gonna take too much heat out of that, out of the CO2.
So
Side of life.